Hello and welcome to Joe Marquis Wagers. Let's start with a quick review of Thursday night's game. The Steelers ended up winning a close back and forth game over the Titans, 20-16. The Steelers covered the spread of 2.5 and the under hit with only half a game to spare. I made 5 picks in this game and won 3 of them, including my best wager of King Henry exceeding his rushing prop of 72.5 yards. He ended up with 75, but I was getting a little nervous every time one of his offensive linemen went down. And I swear 4 or 5 of them went out of the game. I think a couple of them ended up coming back in, getting their ankles taped and stuff like that, but it was definitely some patchwork on the offensive line there. We also hit on the Hopkins receiving yards prop and the TJ Watt sack prop. The 2 we missed on were the rush yards for Will Levis and the team total for the Titans. The prop for Levis was at 10.5 rush yards, and he only ended up with 2. And I have to admit, I was kind of surprised. He really didn't break from the pocket under all of that pressure. He just kept choosing to hang in there and try to make the throw. He showed some real poise in that game, even if he didn't win it. It's pretty impressive for a rookie in his second game. The team total prop was set at 16.5, and they only scored 16, so I just missed that one. In any case, 3-2, 60% win percentage, can't complain. All right, on to the Sunday games. The first game is the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs in Germany. The game opened with the Chiefs favored by 2.5 and a game total of 50.5, and you're going to have to get up early to watch this one. It starts at 9:30 in the morning Eastern Time. This is going to be an interesting game. Both teams are 6-2, sitting in first place in their respective divisions, and the game could have major implications when it comes to seeding and home field advantage in the playoffs. Picking a side is difficult with this one. The Chiefs lost last week to the Broncos, and when was the last time Mahomes lost 2 games in a row? Advantage Chiefs. This game is being played overseas, and so far this year, when a team has arrived over there several days before the other team, the team that arrived first and was more acclimated has won the game. The Dolphins arrived several days before the Chiefs did. Advantage Dolphins. I'm not sure I want to play the game total either. The Chiefs are struggling at wide receiver, and the Dolphins just got their star corner, Jalen Ramsey, back last week. The Dolphins have a great offense, but have struggled against elite defenses, and the Chiefs have an elite defense. This is also the first time Tyreek Hill will be facing his former team. You know he's going to want to go off. You also know that the Chiefs know that he's going to want to go off. See where I'm going with this? All right, so I have watched all of the overseas games this year, and the team that arrived late has looked sluggish in the first half in each and every one of those games. So I'm going to use that info, and I'm going to play the Dolphins to cover the first half spread of plus 0.5. I think the final score could go either way, but I can easily see the Dolphins up or the teams tied going into halftime. So that is the only one I'm playing in this game, and it's the Dolphins to cover the first half spread of 0.5 point. All right. The Rams at Green Bay Packers. This line opened with the Packers favored by 3 with a game total of 39.5. My best wager last week was the Lions covering the spread against the Raiders, and my reasoning was that they were a good team who had been embarrassed the week before. I'm not sure if the Rams are a good team or not. I do know they have a Super Bowl winning coach, and they were embarrassed last week in Dallas. I also know that the Packers are struggling and have lost 4 games in a row. I think this will be a close game, so I'm going to buy the hook, and I'm going to take the Rams at 3.5 points. You could also consider them in a 2-team 6-point teaser with maybe the Saints or the Commanders, something along those lines. I'm also going to play Jordan Love to throw an interception. It is set at minus 136. Last week it was like minus 180. And I don't see anything changing. He is still struggling. So, two picks on this one. I got the Rams at plus 3.5 and Jordan Love to throw an interception. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Houston Texans. The line opened with the Texans as a 3-point favorite and a game total of 40 points. Now, I lean towards the Texans in this one at home following that disappointing loss last week as a favorite in Carolina, but I think I'm going to go with a prop. Todd Bowles would love to just run the ball, but he just doesn't have the personnel to do that successfully. He seemed to figure this out a couple of weeks ago, so instead he's using the short yardage passing game to his running back instead. Rashard White had 7 receptions for 70 yards last week against the Bills, and the week before that he had 6 receptions for 65 yards against the Falcons. So this is like a substitute for the running game. Kind of gets the ball in your running back's hands, but kind of out in space. So I'm going to play both of those props. His receptions are just set at 3.5, and his yardage is just set at 27.5. So I'm going to play both of those. Washington Commanders at New England Patriots. This line opened with the Patriots as a 3.5-point favorite and a game total of 40.5. Both of these teams have lost 4 of their last 5 games. I was leaning towards playing the Commanders to cover the 3.5, but that's no longer available. The line is now set at 2.5, so I'm going to stay away from the side on this one and go with a couple of props. I think I just waited too long. It made me feel good that I was on the right way, though, because if it dropped a whole point, that kind of tells me the sharps were also on the Commanders. The Patriots lost their top receiver to injury last week, Bourne. So Mac's going to need somebody to throw the ball to. So I'm going to play a couple of reception props. I wanted to go with Demario Douglas, who I mentioned last week, but his reception prop of 3.5 is at minus 160. And his yardage prop was up in the 40s. Not really much value here. So instead, I'm going to go with Hunter Henry's prop of 2.5 receptions and 28.5 yards. So I'm going to play 2 on this one, both with the tight end Hunter Henry. Minnesota Vikings at Atlanta Falcons. This line opened with the Falcons as a 4.5-point favorite and a game total of 37.5. The line has dropped a full point to 3.5 on this one as well. The Falcons are going with Heineke over Ritter, which I think is an upgrade. The Vikings are going with rookie QB Jaren Hall. Now, they traded for Josh Dobbs at the trade deadline, but he's going to need some time to learn the offense. So I like the Falcons to win this one, but I don't like the hook. I like the rookie QB to throw an interception, but it's set at minus 160. So I'm going to play a little 2-leg parlay of Atlanta minus 2.5 to get it under 1 score, and Hall to throw a pick. So that puts the line at a respectable plus 116. So I think that'll go down as since it's a same game parlay, it'll be just 1 pick because I kind of need them both to hit to get that good number. Indianapolis Colts at Carolina Panthers. This line opened with the Colts favored on the road by 2.5 and a game total of 44.5. I mentioned last week that I was going to play the Thielen props until something changed. Well, it looks like the odds makers are starting to catch on. FanDuel had his receptions at 5.5, but the odds were like minus 172. No value there. Now, DraftKings has bumped him up to 6.5 receptions at a respectable minus 105. They've also increased his yardage a little bit. It's set at 65.5. Now, the Colts are in the bottom 10 in the league in pass defense, so I think I'm still going to play. I will go with the 6.5 receptions for Thielen and his yardage prop of 65.5. I'm also going to play Jonathan Taylor over 66.5 rush yards. The Panthers actually have a good pass defense, but struggle with rush defense. This is why I think the Texans struggled last week against the Panthers. The Texans just don't run the ball very well. I don't think the Colts are going to have that problem. They're gonna run the ball. Dallas Cowboys at Philadelphia Eagles. This one opened with the Eagles favored by 3 and a game total of 46. Playing a game total really relies on both teams kind of doing their part to either reach the total or to stay under the total. Whenever I don't trust one of those teams to do their part, I look at the team total for the team I do trust. In this case, I don't trust the Cowboys. In their last 3 road games, they've scored 17, 10, and 16 points. However, we all know they could drop 40 at any time. They're just too unpredictable. You don't know which team's going to show up. I trust the Eagles at home much more, so I'm just going to play the Eagles to exceed their team total of 24.5 points. I'm also going to play an obscure prop I ran across on ESPN earlier in the week. The Eagles have not had an opposing running back exceed 15 rush attempts all year. Pollard has only had more than 15 rush attempts in one game all year. I think the game script on this one will have the Cowboys playing from behind and having to throw the ball. So I'm going to play the under on rush attempts for Pollard, which is set at 14.5. New York Giants at Las Vegas Raiders. The line opened with the Raiders as 2.5-point favorites with a game total of 37.5. This game is my nominee for the dumpster fire of the weekend. The Raiders just fired their head coach, general manager, and offensive coordinator, and they're going to be playing a rookie QB. The Giants are putting Daniel Jones back under center. He's a turnover machine. So maybe we should name this Interception Weekend, because I'm going to be playing another interception prop. We can get yes on an interception for rookie Aiden O'Connell at -125. I'll play that. Buffalo Bills at Cincinnati Bengals. This one opened with the Bengals as a 2.5-point favorite and a game total of 48.5. The Buffalo Bills are basically the Dallas Cowboys of the AFC. I don't trust them, and we never know what we're going to get. I trust the Bengals at home in this spot a lot more. So I'm going to play the Bengals team total of 25.5 points. The sportsbooks finally added Shakir to the props list, so I'm going to play both his yardage and reception props. His yardage prop is set at 31.5, and his receptions are set at 2.5. This really comes down to the third string receiver being better than the third string corner. This is true in a lot of cases. If you guys don't like this one, that's fine. Part of the reason I'm playing this is obviously I'm a huge Boise State fan, and he was a Boise State player, and I'm glad to see him finally getting some playing time. So that's why I'm playing those two props. I'm also going to play Mixon to exceed his combined rushing and receiving yardage of 83.5. If the Bengals are in the lead, they're going to want to run the ball. If they're playing from behind, or if it's a back and forth game, they're going to throw them some balls out of the backfield. So I'm looking at the combined one. So combined yardage of 83.5. All right, I'll do a short video on Monday for the Monday night game. This will give me a little more time to dig into it. Now, I didn't play every game, but I played multiple picks on many of the ones I did cover. There are a total of 18 picks on this video. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I like to play all of my picks in a huge parlay just for fun. Now on DraftKings, if you have more than one pick for the same game, they make you play them as a same game parlay, and then treat that same game parlay as a single pick on your parlay. So I did play all 18 of these picks. It just looks like a 9-leg parlay on the graphic. It came in at 529,429. So I am not going to hold my breath on this one cashing. All right, well, good luck to everyone tomorrow. I will post again on Monday. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe and share with anyone else who loves the NFL. Thank you.